I think we're live. Whew. Already out of breath and I haven't even said a word. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathryn. If you're new, I would love for you to subscribe, join the family. And if you are returning, thank you so much for watching another video. Today is a pretty big day. Clearly by the title. But today is also my 27th birthday, so if you're watching this on October 15th, it's my birthday. So today is a really just exciting day for me. I've just been so excited about sharing this with the world. Clearly by the title, there's a huge elephant in the room. Well, two if you include me. But I am pregnant. We're pregnant. We're expecting. I'm going to be telling you guys all about my pregnancy, my first trimester, how I conceived, what made us decide to try for a baby, and maybe a little bit of like, I don't know, I guess whatever comes to mind. I'm just gonna kind of like freestyle this one. So I guess I'll start talking about what made us decide to start trying for a baby. As most of you all know, hopefully you know, I recently like went back to school this summer in May. So I did graduate in 2020 from my university with a psychology degree, but in my 2 years being out of school, I just kind of decided like, being a doctor is my dream and something that I wanted to still go after, and I just kind of like took the leap and did it. So I started my classes around May, and I was having a lot of conversations with my husband at the time. I was like, you know, with me being back in school and working on these like undergrad courses, I only have about a year of these science classes, and then at that point I'm going to be applying to medical school. So we either need to have a baby now or we're gonna have to wait until after I become a doctor. We just finally decided that we were gonna start trying actually this month in October. So I had a birthday trip planned. I was gonna go out of town, turn up, live my best life, like one last hoorah, and then come back home and start trying for a baby. So that was the plan. But of course we make plans and God laughs. Maybe a month or two into my classes, I guess at the end of June, I got COVID. Which y'all, I feel like COVID was about to take me up out of here. But it truly ended up being a blessing in disguise, because what COVID came through and did, she made me miss a whole period. My period ended up coming back like some weeks later, I think towards like July. But I didn't track it in my period app. I didn't make a mental note of it or anything like that. I just was like, oh yay, period. Yay, came back after having COVID. Cool, didn't think anything about it. So when August came and I was expecting or waiting for my August period, it could still be thrown off because of COVID. I was like, but I really don't think so, because I had one in July. So, or part of one. It was just like really, really weird, y'all. So basically I was like, okay, either it's still like out of whack or I'm pregnant. I knew we had been super lovey-dovey, but I also knew that my calendar and schedule was off from being sick. So I was like, let me just go ahead and go like buy and take a pregnancy test, like no big deal. Went and grabbed us some lunch, and I went to the Dollar Tree and got 2 of those like little dollar tests. And then I was like, let's go ahead and go to Walgreens and get the expensive test too. So that way, if the cheap test is positive, I can verify it with the expensive test. That was my logic. I get back home, give baby his food, and then I go to the bathroom immediately, run to the bathroom. First, I tried the Dollar Tree test, and almost immediately, before I could even get up and wipe off the stick, it was just so blatantly clear that I was pregnant. I think that they normally tell you to wait and let the test develop. There was no waiting period. It was almost immediate. As soon as my pee hit that stick, pregnant. So I was like, oh my goodness, like, is this real life? I was like, well, this is the Dollar Tree test, so let's try the Clear Blue test. So pulled out the Clear Blue, tried it, and it said the same thing, that your girl was pregnant. I didn't even think to, in that moment, to pick up a camera, to record. That's not where my mind was, to be honest. And now looking back, I do wish that I had those clips to like at least insert and share with y'all. But to be honest, the only person I was thinking about was me, my baby, and my man. That was it. I ran into the kitchen and I was like, baby, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant. He was like, no, you're not, no, you're not. Showed him the test. He threw that burger down, y'all, got up, started dancing. Now, I really wish I would record that because he was just like so excited. And I knew that he would be because literally for the last year or two, every day he would ask me like, can I get you pregnant? When do we have a baby? I really want to have a baby. So I just knew he would be so excited and I just couldn't keep it from him. So I immediately told him. Right after that, I called my mom and I was like, hey mom, guess what? And she was like, you're pregnant. And I was like, yeah. But let me tell you something. She didn't really know it. Every time I'd be like, mom, I have something to tell you. She'd be like, you're pregnant? And I'd be like, no, I was calling to tell you I made an A on my test. So I just feel like she was waiting for the moment. You know what I mean? So she really wasn't even right for real. Cause it's like, if you keep guessing long enough, eventually the answer is gonna be yes. So she was excited. And then the next day I went and bought like a onesie, put it in a gift bag and gave that to my dad. And that's how I told him. He was like, so excited, like so excited. He started calling all his friends and I'm like, bro, I don't even think I'm that far along. I haven't been to the doctor, none of this, but I just kind of let him do his thing. And then I told my brother and I told my grandma. So at that point, I kind of like closed my mouth because I'm like, okay, I need to get into the doctor. I need to see what's going on, if this is an actual pregnancy, before I just start spilling my beans and getting everyone excited. When I took my test and found out, that was pretty much my 4th week. I really wasn't that far along at all. So my 5th week, I was able to get my first doctor's appointment. And that's also when I started feeling the pregnancy symptoms, y'all. So from that point on, like if I wouldn't have taken the test that 4th week, at that 5th week, I would have known for sure that something was wrong with me or something was going on with me. Week 5, I literally was having the worst hot flashes. True enough, it was summer and hot outside, but y'all, like literally I would walk from my truck to my class, and by the time I got to class, like sweat would be dripping down onto my desk and forming a puddle. It was the most embarrassing week of my life because I would be trying to like wipe my desk with like the arm of my jacket, or like constantly like wiping my head or patting myself with paper towels and tissue. Like it was just so bad. I was so hot. Also that week I had some mild cramps, nothing that felt out of the ordinary. And then I also started craving different foods. So at that point I started craving guacamole from Chipotle, specifically guac and chips. And pretty much I just wanted anything that had a lot of salt. At the end of that week, like I said, was my first doctor's appointment. And I knew in my mind that I was about 5 weeks, just because I knew when I had been intimate, I keep up with that. But according to the like gestational age, when they go by the date of your last period, I was closer to like 7 or 8 weeks, which I knew was not true at all. But of course the doctor wouldn't listen to me until they did the vaginal ultrasound. And y'all, that was the scariest moment of my life. Zaris was there with me and I was just squeezing his hand so hard. So the ultrasound tech inserted the tool, whatever it is, and she put it inside, and I'm like looking up at the screen and I see this big gaping hole. So clearly like that's some type of like sac or wherever the baby is going to be or supposed to be. And I didn't see anything. And I didn't even think in my mind that, girl, you're so early, like you're not far along, so you're not gonna see anything anyway. But in my head, I'm thinking that I'm gonna see something, a little embryo, a little head, a little something, and I saw nothing. And the ultrasound tech, I don't know if that's the correct term, but that's what I'm gonna call her. She wasn't saying a word. She wasn't saying anything. She wasn't saying, you know, she just didn't say anything. And it was just scaring me so bad. Like I was just on the verge of tears and I was just really trying to keep myself calm, but I was a nervous wreck. And she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna step out. You can wipe yourself up and I'll call you back when the doctor is ready for you. So you expect to be pregnant, you took these tests, you have everyone, at least in your immediate family, excited. You're excited, you're feeling these pregnancy symptoms already. You're on Pinterest looking at all this stuff, making all these plans, and you come to the doctor and then you hear that, and then it just kind of like turns your world upside down for a moment. When I finally got to talk to my doctor, he most definitely reassured me. He said, okay, you're not as far along as we assumed. You're closer to probably about 5 weeks. And I was like, that's what I told y'all. He was like, so no worries. Like, you're just too early to really see anything. But I'm going to schedule you to come back in 2 weeks. And it should definitely be a really different type of appointment for you. He just reassured me. And he did let me know, like, you know, if you're worried about things going wrong, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Like, this is the time that miscarriages normally happen. So just make sure you're taking it easy, keeping your stress low, and Just make sure if you have any spotting or any discomfort to let me know. I'm like, for sure. Went home, and I feel like those next 2 weeks were the longest weeks of my life, but let me just go ahead and run through my symptoms. So week 6, I was craving beef, specifically just kind of like anything with ground beef. So I made a lot of spaghetti. Oh yeah, I did sloppy joes too. More mild cramps, so nothing too painful, just like a normal period cramp, which my period cramps are not that bad anyway, so it was tolerable for me. My boobs started getting sensitive, and they literally have been sensitive ever since. Specifically like my nipple and areola area. And then week 6 is when I started having aversions. So I had an aversion to green onion. And if anybody knows me, I love putting green onion on like all my food. It tastes so good. Something about it, I was chopping it, was just making me kind of gag, and then eating it just didn't work. So I was like, oh, here we go. Week 7 symptoms. So I was really hungry. Just eating anything I could get my hands on. Didn't have any specific cravings that week really, but just super hungry. I had intense cramps. So at that point, the cramps started becoming, I wouldn't say painful, but they were definitely uncomfortable for sure. And I had bloating along with the cramps. So a lot of times the bloating and cramping was happening at the same time. And I just felt like somebody was just kind of beating me with a sledgehammer or something, like just constant pain. And then I did start to experience some nausea. I would also like to note that I think around the 6th or 7th week is also when I noticed that sweets were making me feel nauseous as well. So I had an aversion to sweets, which is a pretty big deal for me because I love candy, I love cakes, cookies, all that. For some reason, I just have not wanted sweets. The only sweets I've really been eating still are gummy bears. And for somebody like me who's a chocoholic, like that's a pretty big deal that I don't want anything chocolate. Once I started experiencing these more intense type symptoms and pain is when I went back to the doctor. And so this time they did another vaginal ultrasound because I'm still pretty early, 7 weeks. And she inserted the tool. And immediately when she put it on, I guess I want to say the sac, I don't know the correct term. Now in this like black hole, there was a little baby with a big old head. Like, oh my God, y'all, that moment, like it makes me want to, I have never felt that much joy in my life. For one, I felt a relief because I could finally see something on the screen. Like, it's there, like the baby is there, my baby is there. And I was just kind of laying there looking up at the screen, just trying to fight back the tears, right? So she's like, there's the head and there's the body, because you know not much had really formed at that point. And as I'm trying to fight back tears, she gave me no heads up. She switched something on, and y'all, I heard that heartbeat, and immediately the tears just started pouring because I was like, oh my God, like it's real, like my baby is there. Oh my God, I did not plan on getting emotional in this video, but it was just such a beautiful moment for me because I had been so worried, and like I was being super careful. Like I was having cravings, but I was trying to eat healthy, and I was trying to do everything that I was supposed to do. And you know, just like having this life inside of me, like I just didn't want, you know, anything to be wrong. And to hear that heartbeat, y'all, it just, I have never felt that type of joy, that type of like love in my life. Like it's just, it was just crazy. It was just crazy. So sorry y'all, I did not expect that because I literally I mean, I've cried since that appointment from being angry because y'all know mood swings, but no, I haven't cried since that appointment. But I guess just talking about it just put me back in the moment. But yeah, so she printed off the little picture, which is the only picture that I actually have, and the photos me and Zarius took earlier to announce the pregnancy, that's the ultrasound that we used. So the baby looks super tiny in that picture, but I just literally don't have any other ultrasound pictures yet, but I'm going to definitely make sure I get some more. And hopefully now that y'all know, I can start vlogging my future appointments and stuff too. So let me hop back into this because we still have a little ways to go. At that point, I didn't go back to the doctor for like 3 or 4 more weeks because the next time he wanted to see me was going to be closer to week 11, because at that point, that's when they can do the blood work and do the genetic testing. So I was just at the house, going to school and thugging it out. Week 8, I felt mostly normal. Week 8 was a really, really good week for me, but this is when the fatigue and sleepiness really kicked in. It was really hard for me to go to class every day. No matter how much sleep I got, it was never enough. But I didn't have any nausea or intense cravings, no cramps, and no bloating. So other than the sleepiness, week 8 was amazing. Week 9, the hunger came back. I keep telling myself, like, every time I get hungry now, I always think of the Snickers commercial, "You're not you when you're hungry," because literally that's me when I'm hungry. I am nobody's friend. And so that's when that little hunger monster that lives within me, that's when she became, that's when she made her presence known, was week 9. Week 10, I was extremely moody and irritable. This is when my severe aversion to all types of onions happened, and also raw garlic. So like I mentioned to y'all, since pretty much the beginning, I was having aversions to green onions, but this is when the aversion to all other onions came through. And I was so hurt because I am an onion lover. Onion rings, raw onion on a Subway sandwich, raw onions on a burger, grilled onions on a Philly cheesesteak, like you name it. Like I really just like onions. I like onion powder in my food, like that's just me. And now I can't have any of that, so it just kind of sucks. It was just like too overwhelming for my senses, and now I'm at the point when I even think about onions, it makes my mouth water, not because I want to eat it, but because I feel like I'm about to like throw up. Also in week 10, I started having the severe bloating again, cramps, and back pain. And really what makes it bad is when it all happens at once. And then week 11, it got a little bit better. So my cravings for sweets returned just a little bit. I also started experiencing car sickness at this point. Now, I don't know if this is because my husband drives really terrible or if just the motion of the car itself, but I think what it is, he normally drives pretty terrible and makes me like, puts me on edge. But I think that with me like already being pregnant and feeling kind of sick, his like crazy driving was very hard for me to tolerate, where normally I could just kind of like sit through it, thug it out. Like no, like just make me super sick. And then I started experiencing some nighttime nausea. But the crazy part is, during my entire first trimester, I did not throw up at all. Not even one time. No matter how nauseous I felt, no matter what type of aversion I was having, I never threw up, which was great for me because I know a lot of people like have to constantly run to the bathroom. But I never had that, and I was thankful because I spent a lot of time at school, y'all, like in school and lab, and I was really worried about that. But God, he just really blessed me so far with this pregnancy. Of course, I've had days where I have felt really terrible, but like the actual throwing up from morning sickness, I haven't had to deal with at all. I know a lot of people who get like really bad morning sickness end up losing weight their first trimester. I haven't gained or lost any weight. When I first got pregnant, I was around 172 pounds. And when I went to my first doctor's appointment, I think that was about 175. Since then, I just kind of like fluctuate. Some days I'm 172, 173. Some days I'm like 175. But I've just been staying in that window. And I think it just has to do with my walking at school has helped me. So just moving around and being on campus and doing stuff has also just kind of helped me not pack on too many pounds this first trimester. Like, I don't really think that that's like super important to note, but I just wanted to mention it just because for some reason, like, I feel like I look like I feel like my face looks fuller. My boobs are like boobing. I mean, my boobs are always just here, pregnant or not. Thanks a lot, Mom. But I just feel like I look fluffier, and I really haven't gained any weight. So I don't know what that is. So after that, I stopped recording my symptoms, but at the point of week 11 was when I went for that third doctor's appointment. And at that point, there were no longer any vaginal ultrasounds. He was able to do the one on like my lower tummy. I didn't get to hear the heartbeat that time because he told me my placenta was kind of blocking it and the sound wouldn't be able to like pass through. But he said next time we should most definitely be able to listen in on it. So that's why I was kind of like, dang it, now I missed the vaginal ultrasound because I got to hear everything with that. But with the regular ultrasound that my doctor did, I was able to see the baby with its thumb in its mouth. I was kind of shook. He was like, look, the baby's taking his thumb. I was like, And he kind of like moved the ultrasound thing. He was like, look, I don't really think the baby was sucking his thumb. I think he was just saying that. I'm like, it don't look like it, but okay, doc, if you say so. But then he did point out the limbs, so like the legs and stuff like that, and the 2 arms. So that was nice. And then my baby got a big old head, just like her mommy and daddy. Y'all pray for my vagina, because if I do like a natural birth, it's gonna get real down there. I already know it. Oh yeah, during that doctor's appointment, I got my blood taken, and this was a really interesting experience for me. This is not really relevant to me being pregnant, but normally when I get my blood taken, I have to look away, bite my tongue, and squeeze something, like squeeze a person, my thigh, something to keep me from focusing my attention on my blood being drawn. However, this time, y'all, it's just like with this pregnancy, I want to know everything that's happening to me. So I had on my arm. She's like, are you gonna look away? I'm like, no. I'm like all up in there. And then I told her, I was like, well, you know, I want to see what's going on. I said, but also, you know, I do have plans to potentially work in the healthcare field in the future. And if this is something that I'm going to see and potentially be around, I need to get over it. I need to get over my fear of seeing my blood taken. So I just looked and watched her take about 7 or 8 tubes of my blood. For a few moments, I was kind of getting like, because it just looked like it was too much. Like she was just taking too much. Like she didn't have to really take that much, you know. But I just let her do her job. Look, y'all, I be trying to tell these people how to do their job. But yeah, so that was a really interesting experience. So I should be getting my results back pretty soon about the gender, which is insane because originally I was thinking I wouldn't find out the baby's gender until week 16, 17, 18, but I'm going to possibly know. I may even find out like tomorrow on my birthday, which would be really crazy if I did. But if I don't find out within the next like 2 or 3 days, it's definitely going to be probably sometime next week. The plan is for me to look at it and to know right off the bat, and I'm not going to tell anyone else, and everyone else will find out at my gender reveal, which I already have that planned. I'm definitely going to bring y'all along that journey with me of getting everything together and then actually, you know, vlogging the day of too. So definitely expect that within the next month or so. So I think I pretty much covered everything, how we conceived, how it kind of happened. It wasn't necessarily planned, but it kind of was. It just happened a little bit sooner than we originally thought, but we're happy. I mean, we're just so excited. I mean, Zarius is just so excited, and him being excited makes me so happy. My body is going through so many changes right now, and just to see him just really connected to me, in tune with me, being there for me, it's amazing. Because I know a lot of people say like, you get pregnant, you find out who your real friends are, or don't get pregnant to save your relationship, things like that, because it affects your relationships with people around you. And so far everyone has just been super supportive, really excited, overjoyed. I mean, to the point where I think the day I told my dad that same day he was on the phone with one of his co-workers to get some shirts made, and he literally has been wearing shirts that say Grandpa established in 2023. Everyone's so excited, and I'm excited, and I'm super happy to finally be spilling the beans, because I have posted a few videos this month in October. If y'all knows, I really haven't posted at all. I deactivated my Instagram, everything, just because I know me. I've been so excited and I talk too much and it was just gonna slip. And even in the 2 little vlogs I posted in October so far, I've literally been just dropping hints all over the place, talking about, woo y'all, I'm out of breath, woo y'all, I'm having another mood swing, woo y'all, I am so hungry. And of course y'all, it's so many of y'all in the comments saying, girl, you're glowing, oh my god. But y'all have been saying I have been glowing since 2015. Y'all, that's not even a pregnancy. That's the glory that God has over my life. I'm telling you. But I do feel like since being pregnant, the glow may have intensified a little bit. If you guys made it to the end of this super chatty video, thank you so much for watching. Of course, please don't forget any other questions or topics you want me to talk about, you want me to answer, leave them down below. I definitely have a Q&A on the way for y'all. I guess now at this point I'm going to stand up and show y'all a little bump update. I really feel like I don't have a bump. I have eaten today, so I just feel like it's more bloat than anything. Because some days I wake up and my stomach looks kind of flat, and then other days it's just like poking out. So I'm just gonna kind of let y'all be the judge of that. I am from the front, so you kind of see some roundness in here. I probably should took off these underwear because you can see a panty line kind of pressing in there, but there's a little roundness. And then from the side, it's just like a little round, you know, not too much, but some definitely is in there. So that is it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I will see you in my next video.